Today we're going to be looking again at Jesus, and we're going to be talking about some more things that girls specifically is part of our story. And if y'all don't mind, at the beginning we're going to read some verses. So let me just say this one thing. You know how we sing, some songs say, "Behold Jesus," or "Behold the man upon the cross," or "Behold, behold." What that means, if we were beholding Jesus, it just means that we're looking at him. We're listening to things he said, we're looking at the things that he did, and we're thinking about them. When we think about Jesus, when we look at him, he shapes us. I think I've said that before. I don't know if I said it to this class, but when we look at Jesus, when we look at the things he did, and we look at his heart for us, and we look at the things that he loves, we change on the inside. We change without even really trying. Like, God shapes us. The more we look at him, and what's important to him, and the things that he loves, he shapes us from the inside out. He uses the Holy Spirit to start changing our hearts, where we start to care about different things, and start to value different things, and start to want different things. So God is in that action of changing us. And if you want to, if there's a part of you that's like, man, I want to grow more. I want more fruits of the Spirit. I want more to love better. I want to know God better. The way to do that is to look at Jesus all the time. Looking at him in the Bible, talking about him with friends. Like, if you want to take a shower and you want to get wet, it's not gonna work if you just kind of think about the shower. You have to get under the shower and get wet. The same way, like, if you want to grow and learn more about God, you have to get under the Word. You have to get, you have to be around believers. You have to be having conversations. So I'm just encouraging y'all. A lot of people feel like, I should read my Bible. You know, like, I should read it every day because I feel good about myself when I do it, and that's what good Christian girls do. No, that's not it. We want to learn more about the God who loves us. We have to be in the Word. We have to know what this Bible says so that we can change from the inside out. So I'm just encouraging y'all, like, if you want to grow, you got to be under the Word. So we're going to read these verses. We're going to behold Jesus. We're going to look at him for a little bit this morning, and then we're going to go on and talk. So who wants to read? I'll just assign them, and then we'll read them back to back to back real quick. So does anyone want to read this one? Volunteer. You want it? Okay. Who wants this one? You, green shirt. What's your name? Merritt. Okay. Who wants this one? Molly. Okay, you can have the next one. And then you want this one right here? And then who wants Mark? Okay, you back there with the black tank top. And just read them as loud, like shout it out. I know it's going to feel really awkward, but you need to shout it out so everyone can hear it. Because there's that weird ice machine and it's making me crazy. So go ahead with, who has Luke? Go for it.
The men who were guarding Jesus began mocking and beating him. They blindfolded him and demanded
prophecy
who hit me. And they said many other insulting things to him.
Okay, so they blindfolded Jesus, they hit him, they insulted him, they demanded him to, like, they blindfolded him and hit him and said, if you're God, tell us who hit you, even though you can't see us. And we're kind of just mocking him, making fun of him. Who's got this one right here? Real loud.
Then the governor's soldiers took Jesus into the praetorium and gathered the whole company of soldiers around him. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and then twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on his head. They put a staff in his right hand and knelt in front of him and mocked him. "Hail, King of the Jews," they said. They spit on him and took the staff and struck him on the head again and again. After they had mocked him, they took off the robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him away to crucify him.
Okay, so Jesus is standing in front of a group of men, and they take all of his clothes off of him and put on a fake king's robe, and they make a crown out of sharp thorns and pound it into his head, and then they hit him with this thing and make fun of him and bully him and just really embarrass him and degrade him and treat him like he's nobody. Who's got this one? Who's got it? Okay, shout it out.
Then they spit in his face and struck him. They tongue-slapped him, saying, "Prophet, speak to us, you Christ. Who is that struck you?"
Okay? Again, spitting in his face, and this is in front of everybody, spitting in his face, slapping him in the face. Who's got this one? Okay?
Then Pilate took Jesus and flogged him. The soldiers put together a crown of thorns and put it on his head and arrayed him in a purple robe. They came up to him and saying, "Hail, King of the Jews," and struck him with their hands.
All right, so again, this is the same, we've heard this one before from a different disciple, but this is his take on it, that he also adds in there that he was flogged, that he was whipped, and that they beat him up in front of everybody. Who's got this one? Carly.
And some began to spit on him and to cover his face and strike him, saying to him, "Prophesy," and the guards received him with blows.
Guards received him with blows, meaning that they beat him up. Mark 15, who's got this one?
And the soldiers led him away inside the palace, that is the governor's headquarters, and they called together the whole.
Let me see what that word is. Hold on. Battalion.
And they clothed him in a purple cloak and twisted together a crown of thorns and put it on him. And they began to salute him, "Hail, King of the Jews! Hail, King of the Jews!" And they were striking his head with a reed and spitting on him, and kneeling him down and homage him.
Okay, and they mocked him and stripped him of the purple cloak, put his own clothes on him, and they led him to crucify him. And then I'll read this last part. When the 6th hour had come, there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour. And at the 9th hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And some of the bystanders, hearing it, said, "Behold, he is calling Elijah." And someone ran and filled a sponge with sour wine, put it on a reed, and gave it to him to drink, saying, "Wait, let us see whether Elijah will come to take him down." And Jesus uttered a loud cry and breathed his last. Okay, so this was like, today sounds pretty crappy, right? This is a horrible, horrible day for Jesus. It was the day that he was beat, spit on, embarrassed, degraded, murdered. This is a horrible, horrible day in the life of Jesus. Okay, we're going to leave that for just a second, but I just want us to look at the man, the man Jesus. I just want us to look at him for a second, and then we'll come back to him in a minute. I want to talk to y'all. Let's talk about groups in school. Like, you know how schools have different groups? Different people hang out in different groups. Tell me about some of those groups. I'm going to write up here. So, what kind of groups are there? Just shout them out. The jockeys.
The leaders.
Okay.
The spastic ones.
Gamers.
The lighters.
Skaters.
The popular people, kind of
Popular.
The
Thinkers. Band.
Nerds.
Okay.
Normal people.
Choir. Normal. Choir. Drama. Smart. What else? Actors. What else? Athletic. What else? Football. Go back up to this one. What else? Socially awkward. What else? Bullies. Goth.
The
Hippies. What else? Hipsters. Okay. So, this is just life. Y'all, that happens in high school, but guess what? It happens when you're like my age. It happens when you're 50. It happens when you're 70. Like, when you're 70 in the nursing home, there's going to be the people with no teeth. There's going to be the people who can walk and can't walk. There's going to be the people with grandkids and no grandkids. Like, labels are part of life. What's that? Oh. labels are just part of life. Like, this is part of who we are. All of us, on some level, want an identity. Like, we want a label. We want to know who we are. So labels are part of every girl's life. Like, some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get out of middle school because it doesn't happen in high school. It happens in high school. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get out of high school. It happens. I want to go to college because there will be no labels. It happens in college. Like, it just happens for every woman for the rest of her life. Like, this is, and I'm not trying to discourage you, it's just the way it is. And so there's always going to be groups. When you're a mom, sometimes it's like the mom of, are you a cute mom? Are you a cool mom? Like, even moms have it. Everyone has, every girl has this. So what I want you to think of right now, in your mind, you don't have to answer out loud, but what group are you in? And what group do you want to be in? And if you are in the group that you want to be in, well, great. If you're not, that's a hard place. I understand that's a really hard place. But I just want you to think of the group that you would label yourself. Not what other people would label you, but what you would label yourself. Okay? So get that in your head. Because we're all looking for someone to tell us who we are. Like, that's part of a girl's heart. We want to be special, and we want to know who we are. And knowing who you are is really important, because knowing who you are shapes how you dress, what you do, how you spend your time. Knowing who you are is really important. That's why it's so important to us. That's why we are always hoping for a different label, or always trying to keep the label that we have. Like, it's important, okay? So I'm going to take my little sweaty band. If I think that I am preppy, and I don't have a mirror, so don't make fun of me, but if I think that I'm preppy, I might wear it like this, right? Because I'm preppy. Maybe I don't know, whatever. It probably doesn't look right. But so, like, preppy girls wear their little headbands and whatever. If I think I'm sporty, I'm going to wear it like this, with my hair pulled back and probably like in a top knot or whatever. If I think I'm a hippie, I might wear it like this. You know what I mean? So what you think, who you are, determines the way that you dress, act, whatever. So you guys tell me, if I think I'm a runner, how am I going to dress? Right. Sports bra, athletic shorts, tank top. What? I try to be a runner. If I think that I am a goth, how am I going to dress? Black.
Purple, like purple.
Right.
Very depressing.
Okay. If I think that I am a gamer, how am I going to spend my time? That's what I'm going to do, right? This is what gamers do. Yeah. If I think that I am one of the smart kids, how am I going to spend my time? Right. So who you are determines a ton of stuff. It determines how you dress, how you spend your time, who you hang out with, what you do with your talents, everything. Who you are is important. Okay. Do you all want to know who you are? Is that part of... I will tell you right now today who you are. I can do it very easily. I will answer that question for the rest of your life. I will tell you who you are. If you're a Christian, I will tell you who you are. And to do that, I have to tell you a love story. It's a fairy tale. Once upon a time, there was a man who was a soldier in World War II, and his name was Henry. And he went to a party with some friends, and he saw across the room this girl, and he knew, he didn't even have to talk to her, he knew that for the rest of his life he was going to love this girl. And this is not how love happens for everybody. Sometimes love happens fast, sometimes love happens slow, but their story is that it was fast. He knew right away that she was the one. So he went over and talked to her, and lo and behold, they fell in love, and they got married real quick because they just knew that they were the one. And but he was a soldier. So finally, one night, he got the phone call time for you to go to France. It's World War I. They're fighting the Germans. And they were married. So they were laying in bed the night before, and she was just, her heart was breaking. She was weeping, and she just knew that he might not come back. And so her heart was breaking. The love of her life was leaving for war. And he had gone to the store, the Walmart or whatever of their day. They didn't have any money. So he had gotten her this dinky little watch. It was this really kind of crappy watch. But what he had done is he had set the time, because he was going to France. So he took his watch, and he took her watch, and he set the time so every minute they were exactly the same. And they didn't have cell phones, they didn't have emails, letters took months to come back and forth. And so he said to her, this is the way that you'll know what I'm doing. You'll know when I have breakfast, you'll know when I go to bed, you'll know when I get up in the morning, because you'll be on Henry time. Like, this is Henry time, keep this watch with you. And so for now until I come back, you'll know exactly what I'm doing, and we can live our life together. So she put it on, and unfortunately, he never came back. He didn't make it back from the war. So she had this watch, and she left it on Henry time for the rest of her life. She never took it off. She lived the rest of her life. She didn't get married again. She didn't feel called to and didn't want to. She just lived the rest of her life, and she always had this watch on Henry time, and she loved him until the day that she died. So what if I came to her, it was she was on her deathbed, and she was telling me this story about Henry time, and she said, Julia, I want you to have this watch. Take care of this watch. I want you to have it. And I looked at the watch, and I was like, sure, whatever, thank you for the watch. And then I went out the door, and I looked at the watch, and I was like, this watch is so crappy. I don't want this watch, and I just threw it away. Or I said, that's a really sweet story. I like that story, but I don't like this watch. I'd never wear it. So what I'm going to do is going to take it completely apart, and that might mess up the Henry time, but oh well, I'll take it completely apart, and I'll rebuild it with like a gold chain and diamonds and make it more like my style. What would you, if you were my friend, what would you say to me about that watch?
I think that's really great.
Right. You'd be like, what are you doing? Like, don't ruin the watch. Like, the watch doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how it's built or what, it's beautiful because it is a love gift. It was a gift of love from one man to one woman, and it was an object of love. It showed the love between the man and the woman. Don't ruin the watch. You are the love gift. Do you know that? In John 17, it talks about Jesus. He's saying this prayer. He's praying for his church. He's praying for you and me. And he talks about the fact that God has given his people, they belong to God. All of his children belong to him. And God has given them all to Jesus, and Jesus will not lose one of us. We are the love gift. Do you want to know who you are? You're the love gift. Do you count? Of course you do. You're the love gift. Does what you think matter? Yes, because you're the love gift. That is who you are. That is your label. You are the love gift from the Father to the Son, and you show the love from the Father to the Son. Y'all, you are the love gift. When you leave today, there will be lots of things trying to put a label on you, even probably in this class, but when you leave on your free day, you're going to want to feel like, oh, I want to be the talkative girl, or I want to be the girl that all the guys like, or I want to be the daredevil girl that will ride all the rides, or I want to be this girl or that girl. Like, we all have this desire to have a label on us. We need to know in the deep, deep parts of our hearts that we are the love gift, and that's who we are. That's who you are. You are the love gift. And when people try to tell you something about yourself that's not true, you need to get spicy. Like, I want all of us as women who love the Lord and know the truth about ourselves, when someone says something about us that's not true, get spicy. I'm not going to believe that. That's not true. That's not what the Bible says about me. I know I'm the love gift. You can't tell me that I'm not. And get spicy. If someone says, when the world or even our own hearts start saying stuff to us about who we are, We need to get feisty and say, no, that is not true. I know the truth about me. I'm the love gift, and you can't change that. And guess what? I can't change it. No matter what I do, I'm still the love gift. I am the object of love. That is who I am. That's really important because you know what? That's going to shape how you live your life. If you see yourself in a way that is true, that you're really the love gift, it's going to shape your life. So our label is what makes us feel special. Like if you are band girl and that's what makes you feel special, or you are basketball girl, or you are cheerleader girl, like our label is what makes us feel special. There's this thing, and you all know about it, it's mean girls. I mean, that's a thing, right? You never hear about mean boys. Like it's mean girls. Why? I don't know. I mean, why is that? Well, I think there's a lot of biblical reasons why that is. But mean girls. I used to run, like in junior high, I was a runner. So I ran cross country and track. And what?
You are a runner.
Okay, well, but back then I was like a real runner. Like I took it seriously. But back then it was my label. Like that's who I was. So in 7th grade, I mean, I was a good runner. Like I could run a mile under 6 minutes. I was fast. But I couldn't enjoy that because there was another girl, and her name was Mandy. And I don't know if any of y'all's name is Mandy. It's a great name. But in my mind, I say it like this. Mandy. You know, like she's just this girl because she was just as fast as I was. And so every time we raced, it was me against Mandy, me against Mandy. Sometimes I would win, sometimes she would win, but I could not stand her. I couldn't stand it when she won. I couldn't stand it when we raced. I couldn't enjoy my gift of running because it was my label, and Mandy threatened to take it away. So I could not love Mandy. I was a mean girl because Mandy threatened my label. She threatened to take my specialness away. The thing about being the love gift is no one can take that away. No one can be more loved than you. Who you are, your label is safe. So that now you're free to not be afraid anymore that someone else is going to take your label. No one can change that about you. No one can come in and be a better love gift than you can. You are the object of love. So you don't have to be mean anymore. You have the freedom to love others. And God talks a lot about loving others. It's hard to love people when you don't feel loved. It's like if I said, here Molly, here's $5, but I want you to share that $5 with everyone in the room. You know, Molly would be like, okay, well, here's a dime for you, and a nickel for you, and a quarter for you, and it's really hard to share a little bit of money. But what if I said, Molly, I'm going to give you $50 bajillion. I mean, like, 50 million bajillion dollars. Like, Molly has so much money that she's like building houses with money and using money for napkins and throwing it away, like $100 bills, just garbage. You know, and all of her clothes, are just made out of money because she has so much money. So if I said, Molly, share the money, she'd be like, sure, here, million, 2 million. You want 2 million? 2 million. You want 5 million? Here you go. I mean, she would just share it because she has so much. That is your specialness. That is God's love for you. That is your label. You are so safe. You are so loved. You are so, your label cannot change. That you can just give love away. You don't have to be afraid that other girls are going to come and take it from you. You don't have to be mean. You can be safe. And y'all, the church needs safe girls. The stupid part is that in my heart, I'm a grown-up, and I can still be a mean girl when I feel like another woman is threatening what I label myself as. It's stupid because there are girls at this conference that will go home to really, really, really hard homes. There are girls at this conference that cry themselves to sleep at night because they feel so alone. There are girls here, there are girls in your youth group, there are girls at your school that are hurting. You are hurting. So we need to be not mean girls. We need to be safe for each other. And the only way that we can be that is if we know in our deepest, deepest heart that we are so loved and secure. And so that's why we look at Jesus. Going back to all the verses that I had on the board about Jesus, do you understand what it took for him to make you the love gift? I mean, that day that we read about, where he was beaten and broken and spit on and slapped and hit with clubs and whipped, he did that for you, to make you the love gift, to give you the label of daughter of the King. Nothing can change that. So we look at Jesus and we see him, we behold him, and we see his love there. Very last thing. Actually, I have no idea what time I'm supposed to be done. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be now or later. Okay, so we're supposed to be done at 10? Okay. And my clock is fast. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of a mess this morning. So, I'm talking about the love of Jesus. In Ephesians 3, I can just read it if you don't want to turn there. Okay, Ephesians 3. Paul is talking to the the church of Ephesus. And this is his prayer for him, and it's kind of long, but I'm going to read it to you. Chapter 3, verse 14. For this reason I bow my knees before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and earth is named, that according to the riches of his glory he may grant you to be strengthened with power through his Spirit in your inner being. This is the verse. The next two verses are the important ones in this context. So that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may have strength to comprehend with all of the saints what is the breadth and length and height and depth, and to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled with the fullness of God. Y'all, if you hear me talking about the love of God, and you're like, yeah, I hear that, but I don't feel it, pray this for yourself. Pray, God, let me feel the height and the depth and the breadth of your love. Underline this verse in your Bible and pray it for yourself. Don't stop. God is after you. He desires you. He will not stop till he has you. He will not stop. He is after you. Today he is after you. He will not stop. Don't stop having conversations with saved people. Don't stop meeting with other Christians and talking about the love of God. Don't stop searching for it in your Bible. The Bible says, if you ask, you will find. No. If you seek, you will find. If you ask, it will be given to you. If you knock, the door will be open. If you long to know the love of God, pray it for yourself. Talk to your youth directors. Talk to your friends. Like, this is something that will change your life. The love of God will free you. It will free you from being a mean girl. It will free you from always having to worry about your label. It will free you from always having to be a certain person and work so hard to be that person. The love of God equals freedom for you. And it equals freedom for me. And I, as a grown-up, I have to go to the love of God all the time. And it's silly things, like stuff that you don't care about right now. You're like, Julia, why would you ever care about that stuff? But I do. I mean, it's just what I care about. And I have to go back to the love of God. Julia, you are a love gift. This thing does not determine who you are. Anyway, do y'all have any questions? Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. Any questions? Any comments? Okay. Thanks. All right. So you're done early. You can head to your next one. You've got plenty of time to get there. I hope you guys have a good day. Sunscreen and water. Bye. You just leave it. Look, this is what a mess I'm in. Usually I have all my notes typed up and like orderly, and it's like whatever. Write it down. A cup you can get. got Luke. Read it real loud. Go ahead.
Now the men who were holding Jesus in custody were mocking him as they beat him. They also blindfolded him and kept asking him, "Prophecy, who is it that struck you?" And they said many other things against him, blaspheming him.
Okay, so what is happening to Jesus in this moment? Did you guys hear that? What were some things that were happening to him? Just shout them out. Yeah, they were talking mean to him. They were mocking him. What else? Beating on him. Okay, so he's standing in front of people. He's getting beat up. He's getting degraded, made fun of. John 19. Who's got it? Okay, real loud.
Then Pilate therefore took Jesus and scorched him. And the soldiers placed a crown of thorns and put it on his head. And they put him in purple robes. And said, "Hail, King of the Jews." And they smote him with their hands.
Okay, so what is happening in this verse? Hey, Connie. What's happening in this verse? What is happening to Jesus? What? Right. So what they did is they took him in front of everybody. They stripped him down and they put a fake king's robe on him and a fake crown made out of thorns, pressed it into his skull, and so he's bleeding. He's half naked, dressed in this like stupid king's robe, like it's not even real, and they're just degrading him. They're making fun of who he is. They're beating him with staff. They're beating him with a whip, and they're smacking with his hands. Let's read the next one, Mark 14. Who's got it? Real loud.
Some began to spit at him, and to blindfold him, and to beat him with their fists, and to say to him, "Prophecy." And others received him with slaps in the face.
Okay, so slapping him in the face, spitting in his face. This is all before a crowd of people. Next, Matthew.
Then the governor's soldiers took Jesus into the praetorium and gathered the whole company of soldiers around him. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and then twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on his head.
Okay, next, Matthew. Was that all of it?
No.
Oh, go ahead.
They put a staff in his right hand, then they knelt in front of him and mocked him. "Hail, the King of the Jews," they said. They spit on him and took the staff and struck him on the head again and again. After they had mocked him, they took off the robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him away to crucify.
Okay. Who's got the next, Matthew?
Then they spit in his face and struck him, and some slapped him, saying, "Prophesy to us, Christ, who is it that struck you?"
Okay. Mark.
The soldiers led Jesus away into the palace and called together the whole company of soldiers. They put on a purple robe on him, then twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on him. And they began to call out to him, "Hail, King of the Jews." Again and again they struck him on the head with the staff and spit on him. Falling to their knees, they paid homage to him. And when they had mocked him, they took the purple robe off and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him out to crucify.
Okay. And then I'm going to read a part, the very end of this day. So leading up to this day, he's been beat, humiliated, spit on, slapped, whipped, undressed, mocked, blindfolded, and then this is how his day ends. And when the 6th hour had come, there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour. And at the 9th hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And some of the bystanders, hearing it, said, "Behold, he is calling Elijah." And someone ran and filled a sponge with sour wine, put it on a reed, and gave it to him to drink, saying, "Wait, let us see whether Elijah will come to take him down." And Jesus uttered a loud cry and breathed his last. So at the end of this really long day, it started in the middle of the night in the Garden of Gethsemane when he was arrested. He's been with the police all day. He's been with the judge all day. He's been with the governor all day. He's been beat by soldiers, mocked, spit on, and then he's murdered. So this day in the life of Jesus, we're going to come back to it, but I want us to hear from Scripture something that really happened in real life. Okay, so let's talk. I don't want this to sound like some lame high school movie or whatever, but let's talk about groups in school. Hold on one second. Let me erase this. And I understand for some of you this might be like, is she really doing this? But yeah, we're doing it. So let's talk about groups in school. Who are the different groups in school? Just shout them out. Popular, jock, popular, whatever. Jock, geek, nerd. What else?
Nice.
What?
Nice.
Nice.
Like the average.
Oh, nice, normal, nice. Goth. What else?
Individuals.
Individuals. What else?
Hipsters.
Hipsters. What else? Mean. What else?
Smart.
Smart. What else? What?
Couples.
Couples. What else?
Shy.
Shy. What else?
Gangsters.
New. Gangsters. What else?
Hipsters.
Hipsters. We got that one. What else? Artists. Go ahead. What else?
Singers.
Singers. What else?
Actors.
Huh?
Actors.
Actors.
Dancers.
Dancers. What else?
Cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders. What else?
Drama. Football.
Drama. Football. I'm not even writing anymore. I'm just squiggling. What else? What else?
Bullies.
Bullies. What else?
Athletes.
Athletes. That's cool. Gamers. What else? I mean, there's more, right? What else? Loud girls. Dumb people. What else? Anything else? Anything else coming to mind? What else? Christians. What else?
Oh, you can't believe that. I already said that. People that only speak using hashtags.
Oh, what do we even call those people? All right. Here's the thing: is these are all groups that exist, and they exist in junior high. And y'all are like, I can't wait to get out of junior high because senior high is so much better in senior high. It exists in senior high. Well, I can't wait to get out of college or out of high school so I can go to college and not be part of groups. It exists in college. I can't wait to graduate from college because then there won't be groups anymore. It exists after college as a grown-up. I can't wait to be mature because I won't have to worry about that, or an old person. Y'all, groups exist in the nursing home. They're weird groups that, yeah, a knitting group, the women with teeth, the women without teeth, the women with grandchildren, the women who can walk, the women whose boobs are down to their knees. Like, there are women, there are groups, there are all kinds of different. You are a girl, and you will deal with groups for the rest of your life. This is just a part of who we are. I don't mean that to discourage you, but I want you guys to realize you're not a freak, or you'll never get away from it, so we have to have tools to deal with it. Like, if you just had to deal with that your whole life without tools, it's going to be incredibly frustrating and discouraging. But I want to give you tools today to deal with it. We all have a label, whether we want one or not. It's just how the world works. So I want you to think in your head, what is your label right now? Like, what do you label yourself as? Yourself, not what other people call you. What do you label yourself as? And what label do you want to have? And some girls that might match up. Like, you want to be this, and you are that. But I just want you to get in your head what your label is, what you label yourself, and then what you want your label to be. All right, you guys got it? You thinking, or are you just looking at me? Are you thinking? Okay, you got your label? You got what you're... you know what? I do it too. And I'm not in college anymore, and I do it too. Your parents do it. Your grandparents do it. All of us do it. We all have a label. Even the girls who are like, I don't want a label. That's your label. You know what I mean? Like, the girl who doesn't, like, I don't have a label. No one's going to label me. Well, I'm the girl who doesn't get a label. Like, that is, that's who you are, your label. So, the thing about it is labels are actually really important. Who you are, who you think that you are, who you see yourself as is huge. Because who you see yourself as determines what you do, how you dress, how you spend your time, what you spend your energy on, what you spend your money on, what you think is important. Who you are shapes all of that. This is my little sweaty band, and anyway, I'm just going to do this. It's stupid, but okay. So if I think I'm a preppy girl, And in my mind, I'm a prep. I'm going to wear my sweaty band like this, right? I don't have a mirror. Don't make fun of me. But, like, this is how preppy girls wear their headbands. Blair on Gossip Girl, whatever. Okay, if I think I'm a runner, I'm going to put my hair, I'm going to wear it like this, and I'm going to put my hair in a top knot or a ponytail, but this is how I'm going to use my headband. I mean, if I'm kind of groovy and I'm a hippie, I'm going to wear it like this. You know what I mean? If I'm not a girly girl, I would never be caught dead in something like that. Like that, to me, I would never wear. So who you think you are really determines how you use everything in this world. So for y'all, okay, so what if I think I'm a runner? And I got this illustration from a friend. But what if I think I'm a runner? What would I wear? How would I dress? If I think I'm a runner,
Tennis shoes.
yeah, running jacket, sports bra, whatever. If I think I am a goth, how will I dress? Right. If I'm a gamer, how will I spend my time? Right, you'll spend all of your time gaming. If I am a girl who's really into style and fashion, how will I spend all my money? Shopping. Right. So I know this might be a little simple, but who you are really affects all of your life. Who you think you are affects your whole life. And so for the rest of your life, you will be searching for labels. Every single one of you do it. I do it. No woman is away from this. No one. I don't care if it's your pastor's wife or your youth director or the most confident person in the whole world. They are still searching for a label. So today, I'm going to tell you who you are. I'm going to just solve that question for you. And in order for me to do that, I have to tell you a love story. This is a fairy tale. Once upon a time, there was a man named Henry, and he was a soldier in World War II. And one day, he came to a party, and he saw across the room this girl who he didn't even have to talk to her. He just knew for the rest of his life he was going to love her. And it's not everyone's story. Some people's love happens slow. Some people's love happens fast, happens different. But for them, it happened fast. So he knew, this is the girl for me. He went up to her, they talked, lo and behold, they fell in love. So a couple months later, they're married because, you know what, it was just a whirlwind. They were so in love, let's just do it. You know, she didn't know if he was going to have to go to war or whatever. So finally, one night, he gets a phone call. Time for you to go to France because they're battling the Germans. He heads to Europe. But the night before he leaves, you know, they're married, they're laying in bed, and she's just coming undone. I mean, she is falling apart. She knows he might not come back. And there's no way to get in touch with him. There's no cell phones. There's no email. Every letter takes months back and forth. So she feels like she's going to lose him. And he has gone to Walmart, or whatever the old-timey Walmart is, and they don't have any money. They're broke. So he picks up this dinky little watch. And he says, you know what? We're not going to be able to live our lives together right now, but I'm going to set your watch. And he set it. He was headed to France, so he set his watch and he set her watch so that the minutes were like exact and moved at the same time. And he said, this is Henry time. We are going to be able to still live our life together because you're going to know exactly what I'm doing. When I wake up, you'll know it because you'll know what time it is. When I go to bed, you'll know it. When my meals are happening, you'll know it. You'll know what I'm doing because you're on Henry time. So they stayed in touch like that. And unfortunately, he never made it back. He didn't make it through the war. So this woman had herself on Henry time for the rest of her life. She lived on Henry time. This one watch was a picture of this love that they shared that was so intense and wonderful, and she kept herself on Henry time for the rest of her life. She never remarried. She loved him till the day that she died. So she's on her deathbed. She says, Julia, come here, I want to give you something. And she tells me this story about Henry time, and she hands me the watch. She says, I want you to have this watch. I want you to take care of it. And I'm like, okay, thanks. So I take the watch. But you know what? The watch really isn't my style. So my plan is to take it, you know, I love the story, but it's not my style. So my plan is to just take it apart and ruin Henry time and build it back together so I still have the watch, but it looks different. Or I'm like, I don't care about this, and so I just throw it away, throw the watch away. If you're my friend, what are you going to say to me?
Don't throw the watch away.
Yeah, like, what are you thinking? Oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful story. Why would you ruin that? Like, that watch is an object of love. That watch is a love gift from this man who was so wonderful to this woman who he loved. He gave her this gift. Don't ruin that. That's what that is. I don't care if it's a stupid watch. I don't care if it's dinky. It's a love gift. Y'all, you want to know who you are? You want to know what your label is? You are the love gift. In John 17, Jesus talks. He's praying this high priestly prayer, and he's praying for all of us, really. And he talks about how God the Father has his children, and he gives them to the Son, and the Son will have them as a gift and keep them, and not any of us will fall out of his hands. We are the love gift. That is who we are. You, daughter of the King, are the love gift from the Father to the Son. That is your label. As soon as you walk out these doors today and go on your free day, there are going to be 1,000 things that you want to be labeled as. You'll be with your friends and you'll start thinking, I need to be the talkative girl, or I need to be the cool girl, or I need to be the girl that gets the guy, or whatever. There will be something that you'll count on to make you feel special. I don't care if you're 20 and hot. I don't care if you're 11 and just figuring out about life. I don't care who you are. There is something that your heart will go to make you feel special. We, as daughters of the King, need to be a little bit feisty. And when people around us tell us, this is your label, we need to say, no, that's not my label. I know what my label is. I'm an object of love. I'm a daughter of the King. I will not buy into anything else. When your own heart tells you, this is what's going to make you special, we need to get feisty. We need to get a little bit angry and say, no. I know the truth about myself. I am the object of love. I will not let my heart go anywhere else. So our label is what makes us feel special. In 7th grade, I was a pretty good runner. And, I was fast. I'm not fast anymore, but in 7th grade I was fast. And I could run a mile under 6 minutes. So I was fast, and I felt good about that. That made me special. But I couldn't just relax with being fast. There was a girl on my team. Her name was Mandy. And if your name is Mandy, it's a wonderful name. But when I think about the name Mandy, I say it in my mind like this. Mandy. When I hear that name, I'm just like, because she was just as fast as I was. And so it was always me versus Mandy. Like, Mandy would win sometimes, and I would win sometimes. It would be back and forth. And I didn't feel good unless I beat Mandy. So it wasn't enough to just be fast. I had to be faster than her. I couldn't enjoy Mandy's running. I couldn't look at her and say, wow, she's really fast. That's wonderful. Because I didn't love her. I hated her. In the same way, there's this thing called, we all know it, Mean Girls. Why isn't there a Mean Boys? It's just a thing that's Mean Girls. We are mean. Do you know why we're mean? Because in our hearts, we need, and it's a good need, but we need to be the special one. We need it. We want to be the special one. We want no one to have a better label than us. If we're singers and we see another girl singing better than us, it affects our specialness. All of a sudden, we don't feel special. If we're pretty and we meet a prettier girl, all of a sudden we're threatened, and so we're mean. There's a reason for Mean Girls. But y'all, the world needs women who know how to love each other. There are girls in your school, in your youth group, at this conference, that are going to go home to really hard homes. There are girls here that cry themselves to sleep at night. Some of y'all are hurting. We need to be women who can love each other well. How do we do this? We need to understand deeply who we are. Do you understand that you are the love gift And no one can change that. No one can be more of a love gift than you can. You are the one. Do you understand that there's nothing that you can do to make you less of that? That is who you are. Nothing can change it. So there's freedom there to be like, I'm safe. No one can steal what I am. No one can threaten that. No one can be more of that. I'm safe. Now I can love. It's really hard to love others well if you don't feel loved. So if I said, Lily, here's $5. I want you to have this $5, enjoy it, but I also want you to share that $5 with everyone in the room. So it'd be really hard for Lily to enjoy the $5 and also share it. So she would be like, here's a nickel, and here's a quarter for you, and a dime for you, and all of a sudden there's nothing left. But what if I said to Lily, here is $1,000,000 bajillion. It's all yours. It's all for you. Do whatever. And she has so much money that she's like building houses with money and using money for napkins at the dinner table, like $100 bills. She has so much money that her clothes are just dressed. And I say to her, and now you have to share it with everyone? And she's like, no problem. You want to know? You want here, $2 million. You want $5 million? Here you go. You want $10 million? No problem. Here you go. It's easy to share when you have a lot of something. That is God's love for you. His love for you is so big and so deep, and no one can take your spot. No one can make you less of his daughter. No one can take his love. His love for you is so deep. And someday in heaven, we talked about it yesterday, you will see it. You will see his eyes, and you will see his love. Paul, in Ephesians, we're almost done. Paul in Ephesians, he prays, and I'm going to read this to you. You guys can turn there, because I know that I'm talking about the love of God, and I know that sometimes we don't feel it. Sometimes we do, and we really get it, and sometimes we don't, and you're like, I hear about that, but I don't care, A. And B, I don't feel it even if I wanted to. So turn to Ephesians 3. Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians. Colossians.
I'm in the wrong one. What is it?
Ephesians 3. All right. Ephesians 3, verse 14. Y'all ready? Okay. Not there yet? 3:14. And this is Paul, and he's praying this for himself and for the church. And I'm just going to read it out loud. Y'all can follow along. For this reason I bow my knees before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth is named, that according to the riches of his glory he may grant you to be strengthened with power through his Spirit in your inner being. Okay, this next part is the one I want you to hear. That Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may have strength to comprehend with all of the saints what is the breadth and length and height and depth, and to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. Pray this for yourself. Underline it in your Bible, highlight it, whatever. Pray this for yourself, that you might know the height and the depth and the breadth. Aren't the people who know the love of God the most beautiful? I mean, aren't the people the ones, like the people that are so solid in the women that I respect the most, and the ones I'm like, man, I just want to be her and I want to be around her. They're the women that know who they are, and they're unwavered. Like, they're not threatened. They can love well. They can laugh at themselves. They can enjoy themselves. They can have a good time. People are just drawn to that. You know, when people are grounded and rooted in the love of God, and they just know, man, I just know about myself. I know the truth about me. They're very attractive, and they're free. It's not just about being attractive. Their hearts are free. They're not worried about stuff. The good thing is, you're going to struggle with this stuff for the rest of your life, but the older you get, your heart will remember the voice of the Lord, and it will turn to Him faster and faster and faster and faster, and so you will spend more time in freedom. You will. But pray this for yourself. Don't stop talking to other Christians, other safe people about the love of God. Don't stop asking for it. Ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened. God is after you. Jesus wants you. And He will not stop until He has you. Today He is after you. His love is passionate and pursuing, and He will not stop until He has you. So all of your life will be about God bringing you to Himself. You will know His love more and more, but don't stop seeking after it. Don't stop praying for it. To the understanding, it's so deep that even in marriage to a good man who loves really, really well, I still don't understand the love of God. It is so deep. And I'm continually surprised at how deep and how rich it is. So anyway, pray that for yourself. Okay, do y'all have any questions? Any comments? Okay. Am I making sense? Does stuff make sense? Okay. All right. I'm going to pray for us, and y'all can leave. You guys are getting out really early. Don't tell anybody that you got out early. I know. All right, let me pray. Jesus, thank you for your word. And thank you for the fact that Jesus had to pay a big price for us to become a love gift. He spent time being abused and spat on and hit and stripped, and then He was murdered. The price to become the love gift did not come cheap to Jesus, but to Him it was worth it. His love is so deep. So as we look at Jesus and see what He went through to win us, God, may we understand your love for us. May we see the love in Scripture, and may we love each other well. May we understand your love so well that we are free to love others. Help us to battle being mean. Help us to love each other well when we understand your love. And it's in your name I pray. Amen.